What's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to episode number 3 to a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I am Damaris Bell, and we are having conversations today with Lisa. Now, before we get started, I want to start like I do every episode by thanking you all for supporting me, for sending me the DMs, thanking me for doing the topics, thanking me for continuing this journey that like I say every time, I still don't know how we're here. And I want to thank my accountability partners that I did not ask for, making sure that, hey, where's the new episode? You're waiting too long, or I'm waiting. So, I thank you. Life has been lifing, but here we are, and thank God for another day and another year. Happy New Year. It's 2026, and I don't know about y'all, but I have some goals and plans in mind for this year that I plan on achieving, and I'm just so excited about this new era, which is today's episode title, New Era. And I'm so excited about having Miss Lisa here for as my guest. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Excited to be here.
So we have discussed you. So I met you as Lisa Harris, but this is Lisa Gurley.
Hello.
What a name. Like, never heard of it before. Like, that's a unique name, but it's actually, I like it. It's very brand worthy, actually, too. Where are you from?
I was born at Grady Hospital, Grady Baby in Atlanta.
Whoa. Yeah. I didn't know you was from Atlanta.
Yeah. Born at Grady, but raised in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, that's what I know.
Yeah.
Okay. So like I said, I met you as Lisa Harris when you first came down here, and God is so strategic. When I used to run into Lisa, I used to always tell my other friends, I just want her to have some friends. No, because of course the marriage that you were in at the time, I knew I was familiar with the church, and although I wasn't familiar with your partner on a personal level, I had also dated someone in that church, and I knew the dynamics of it, and I just figured that it would be extremely hard coming into a new state, not knowing anyone besides their significant other and their family. And that just used to always be my desire, that you get some friends. And now, you're a part of my church. And I'm not saying all the people at our church are your friends, but I know that you at this point had an opportunity to develop and cultivate other relationships outside of when you first got here. Yeah. So I'm not excited that, everything happens for a reason. But, I'm excited about that aspect of your life because, of course, I know you're a mom.
Yes.
How many kids?
I have 2 kids, a son and a daughter.
Okay.
Yeah. So they are adults, but still very much so my babies.
And she don't look like she got adult kids, because I was shocked when I found out you had an adult child. He fine, but I was shocked because it's like, at least I didn't look old enough to have.
Yeah. My baby is 26.
Crazy. So we are talking about New Era. And of course, we're starting this episode at the top of the year. It's January. And, looking at social media and, of course, talking with my inner circle, it seems like everybody is pretty focused this year with new ideas and new goals. Preferably we all consistent because, of course, life happens and, roadblocks happen. But it seems like this year, like, there's a lot of drive when it comes to people in their lives. Do you have any goals this year?
Yeah, so actually I do have goals like most people. I'll be starting back school summer, and also want to stay consistent with my weight loss journey. I know probably most watchers watching this, right, can attest and can be familiar with that. Just trying to be healthy, not just as a gimmick or a new year type mantra, but as a lifestyle, really thinking about getting older and some of the health challenges that people in my family are experiencing. Just wanted to bypass that, eliminate that by making better decisions overall.
Yeah, no, that's valid and true. Everybody, I know this person that starts the gym every Monday, but never start the gym every Monday. But no, well, I kind of started last year and then I slowed because, I slowed down at the top of the year, but I'm definitely in agreement with you on that because, baby, these knees ain't 25 no more, but,
Right. Right.
So I know that, even though we're only on, by the time this airs, we'll be on day 26 of the new year. And a lot has happened in these 26 days. Like, we took over Venezuela.
Jesus.
Help us. The dress has been a conversation for weeks. And I mean, I actually thought the dress looked nice, but I tend to like to dress more on the provocative side myself, but I'm not a first lady. But I understood when we're not even gonna talk about the dress because y'all talked about it enough, and that's not talked about it enough to we didn't need to talk about it no more. But this past Sunday was Dr. Bryant's, Dr. Carrie Bryant, if you haven't put two and two together. But again, I know everybody know what dress I'm talking about because y'all talked about it for 2 weeks straight. But Dr. Carrie Bryant's birthday, and she had all of her girlfriends. We've been able to see the relationships that she's had with Trina Hairston and Dr. Kalita Forbes. And so they were there to celebrate their girlfriend, not even on program, but there was a prayer. And let me get my notes because I'm not going to remember everything that was said in the prayer, but because it was a great prayer. And I mean, it wasn't my friend, but I was like, if I need a friend, I need my friend to speak in, or if I'm having a moment, I need my friend to speak it to me the way that she did. The thing that spoke out to me, she stated was, and there's nothing wrong with you. We just haven't seen this before. And for every word that broke your heart, I apologize on their behalf. And I guess the reason why it stuck out to me was because we were able to see in real time, a friend validating the eccentric person, because people will try to discredit the unknown or condemn the bold.
Yes.
And sometimes it is based off of fear because, like she stated, we haven't experienced this. And, with the new generation that's coming up, is very much on the opposite end of the spectrum of what we've seen before. If you followed Dr. Bryant prior to her even being the first lady, like she's always been a trendsetter when it comes to fashion. She's always been an eloquent speaker. She's always had a bold personality. So the dress itself did not actually surprise me. But the apology that she received, that her friend knew she needed, and she probably would never got it. I mean, if you think about it, there are specific voices that we hold at a higher caliber, and in those moments or in those instances, there are times that we want an apology, and we may not get it, but it's needed. And so that was what stuck out to me because her friend saw that and was able to, of course, even though it wasn't from the respective person, she still was able to give her one and heal the place that she didn't break. So has there been any opportunities, or has there been a time where either a friend apologized or validated you, or even a friend apologized for something that they may have not done?
Yeah. So for sure. And I think that healthy community is so important, especially for a strong woman, for a woman who is credentialed. You have education, you have accomplishments, you have businesses. Building a community that is not intimidated by your success or your confidence is so important. And actually, this past birthday, my best friend's husband texted me, and he wrote out this very heartfelt message, and he apologized. And so it did more for me than I thought. It was like, when you read something, you're like, I didn't know I needed that, or I didn't know that would impact me the way that it did. But he did. He apologized and just encouraged me and encouraged me to keep going and to keep being myself, right? And that the right people would come along and receive all of who I am. I won't have to shrink and all of that. So it was really helpful and encouraging. But my friends throughout the past 6 years of my journey here have also been voices of empowerment, voices of life, of truth, saying, I know what they're calling you, but this is who you are and this is what you answer to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, and especially with being a strong friend, because a lot of times, because you are the strong friend, a lot of people feel like you can handle everything. And you pretty much can, but just because I'm capable of handling it, it doesn't necessarily mean that I want to handle
Right.
everything. Like the weight of being able to roll with everything or roll with the punches, I should say. Like that's a heavy burden.
Mhm.
It's a heavy challenge to be the strong friend because you always have to hear, oh, well, you should know me, or I know it'll be all right, or I know you know how. Like there's a lot of consideration from the strong friend. I think that's missing or that isn't given.
Reciprocated.
Yeah. In regards to the new friend or the I should say the friend's husband, was it an apology of something that he needed to give, or is it?
No, it was just in general and him talking about my experience here.
Right.
And just a little backstory. I am from Cincinnati, and when my marriage dissolved, I did what most people would do. I prepared to move back home.
I was surprised you didn't.
Yeah, like, I was looking for jobs. I even contacted my old employer. They contacted me initially, and I was in conversation with them about going back to work there. I was looking for, jobs in Atlanta, in Charlotte, so on and so forth. And the Lord told me that I had to stay.
I don't know. Like that's hard.
A lot of people were like, I would just have to been disobedient. Yeah, I would have just had to, take that one on the chin and make a decision or make a move and then ask for forgiveness, right? But he was very clear to me that my purpose was not simply defined by being a wife.
Yeah.
That there was purpose for me here that extended beyond my marital status, and that I had to stay, and I was obedient to that, with one request: if you want me to be here, you have got to give me a place to belong. I come from a city where very, very involved in ministry, family very close. I mean, we're always going out to eat after church. The youth group was always at my house because my kids were in high school at that time, and in college at that time. Involved in community. I was volunteering everywhere. So I was a very active person, a very social person. That's what I was used to. And I was working from home and then did not have a church home at that time. I was displaced, so to speak. And so I had one request. I said, you have to give me a place to belong. And scrolling on social media one day on the Explore page, I came across a revival that was happening at Cathedral of Praise. And that was the beginning of my time there. So I thank God for that.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that because I was one of the ones. I mean, of course, we hadn't personally had this conversation, but no, I was one of the ones that was like, no, I would have went back home.
Most people,
because of course, from the outside looking in, your identity only was who you were. Because I, of course, had followed or liked a couple of pictures prior to you being married and prior to you coming, because of course he would post. So when you didn't go, that was a conversation that I had with my circle, because of course, yeah. So that's nice to know. Do you how much of a challenge was it? I know that you, of course, were able to come and identify a community at Cathedral, but how much of a struggle do you feel like you had to go through to belong after that season was closed?
It was huge. It was a difficult time. a lot of questions and not a lot of answers, right? And embarrassment. I knew that people only knew me in that particular space and reference. Um, and so trying to navigate in spaces, wondering who I could trust, who was safe, who was genuine. It was a lot. And it was such a sharp contrast from the life that I knew back home. And also, obviously, hopes and conversations that I had with my ex-husband about what we would do here and what we would establish here. And so it was a difficult time.
And it definitely pays to know the voice, because to be able to have the strength to actually stay and to mourn and grieve the life that you had imagined and prepared for. And so I get that. As humans, I know there's a strong urge to correct the narrative. And this goes hand in hand with you, of course, entering into your new era, because people will try to hold you in bondage of a version of who they once knew. So how important was it to you to allow people to think what they wanted to? Or did you feel the need to defend who Lisa was when you heard something that wasn't always accurate?
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, it's human nature to want to clear your name, right? I felt doubly offended because I felt that people hadn't even gotten the opportunity to know me or taken the opportunity or advantage of getting to know me. It was almost like a resistance, like intentional. We don't even want to connect, and so I was. I was hurt by that. I was upset by that because I'm a pretty cool person. So it's like, what's there not to like? But it was extremely difficult. There were several instances where I did want to make posts, make statements. I think that there were times when certain individuals were saying things and putting things out with hopes that it wouldn't be countered or addressed. And knowing that people didn't know me, because when I moved here, it was 2019, and then the next year was COVID. So everything was shut down. So opportunities to engage, to meet new people, to be social were non-existent for that whole entire year. And we're back into 2021, and churches were just now starting to kind of reconvene. And so it was still for like those 2.5 years, all I knew was that particular community and group. And so even when I would get into a space, I hear things were being done, things were being said, might say something. That's where that my friend group was very instrumental in saying, that's not who you are.
Yeah.
Respond as a prophet, respond. And I'm like, I'm not a prophet right now. I'm her. I'm mad. You know what I mean? But it was very important for me to not reject that wisdom and that advice. Because I remember my best friend telling me one time, like, you don't know what God is going to do. And you could be like speaking against your future or what he's trying to do. Take that down. You know what I mean? And you need those types of voices in your life.
Certainly. Now, I'm not a poster. I'm more of a, I got to go to you and say, I heard what you said. And I just want to clarify, because that's not the truth. So I am working on that. Like, when I say 2026 what happened was, I was saying, take me through that. I believe it. Like, over and over, like telling people this is my theme song. And I have literally been took through that.
Wow.
And right now, I just feel like I'm in a season where I don't have the opportunity to defend myself. And so, or that I have the opportunity. I've had plenty of opportunities. Let me correct that. I've had plenty of opportunities to get things correct or to address things. But I really just me and my family, 2026. That's all. That's like literally my focus. Because like I said at the beginning of the podcast, there is a different level of focus that I feel that 2026. I will say it's requiring of not multiple people, but I know specifically for me. And so because of the level of focus that I feel like 2026 is requiring of me right now, I just don't have a lot to say, which is weird because here we are on a podcast that requires me to have a lot to say so that we can have a conversation, because I mean, it is a conversation with Damaris, but outside of this platform, I'm being intentional on the words that I choose to say, intentional on the conversations that I'm partaking in, because it's not the time.
Yeah.
And so
I like to say it's not the quantity of your words, but it's the quality of your words. And I think when we stop to consider, is what I'm saying holy? Is what I'm saying helpful? Is what I'm saying healthy? That helps us to better determine if we need to proceed with the conversation or not. It should be a guiding, factor.
I'm gonna write it down: holy, healthy, and helpful.
Yeah.
I might have, so what might be helpful to one, because I feel like I'm being helpful when I say a lot of stuff. Now, healthy and holy probably is some work that can be done on those ends. But that's a nice guy. I'll keep it in mind next time. Right now, I just better just not say anything. You can't misinterpret my silence, or you can. Silence, I said it. Was it this morning when I woke up, or it might have been yesterday? Silence sometimes breeds confusion. And so, because right now I'm trying to navigate a walk of silence, because there's no clarity in it. You can't really figure out, or you don't know what I'm thinking in my silence. And that is that's my nature. Like, if I'm offended, or if I feel like my defense mechanism is to go silent. Silence and isolation. And you would think that it can't be misinterpreted, but no, silence. It came to me this morning. I remember silence can bring confusion, because there's no clarity. There's nothing to interpret. And if nobody's asking any question or nobody's speaking, then here we are. So I, of course, like we spoke earlier, I know you as Lisa Harris, but we are rebranding Lisa Gurley. I think it's a great name to be branded. I mean, there's so many things that you can do from a brand perspective, but was there anything that made you revert back to your maiden name?
Well, yes. So there was always the plan. Sometimes your mind knows what you need to do, and your heart has to catch up to that. But as the Lord began to, I have a consulting business, Unearth Consulting Group, where we know that you're here to do great things. We help everyday people reach their goals. As God began to bless my business, and then with the launch of my book, there started to become questions, and I had to start defining where money was going, right? Because there's a different level of income now that I have as a result of obedience. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But so I needed to go ahead and have everything streamlined. And so I just went ahead and went back to my maiden name for business purposes.
Okay. Well, speaking of the book, we have New Girl here. Get it? You want to tell them where they can get it from?
Yes, you can purchase New Girl on Amazon. It's also available on Kindle for those that like to digitally read. If you are in the CSRA area, you can also pick it up at the Book Tavern, and soon coming to Barnes & Noble in Augusta Mall.
We should probably. There we go. Okay. Well, what made you write a book?
So I wrote the book. I started writing the book in 2022. I started writing it as a declaration of the necessity of authenticity. I started writing it for people who might have been in a new season, walking into a new experience, and feeling the pressure to conform to a status quo, to a culture, and reducing themselves to try to fit in. I wanted people to know that there is a need for the real you to show up in the world. There's something for you to do, and you can't do it unless you are your authentic self. So it's a declaration of authenticity. It's a declaration of boldness, of empowerment, and of truth. That there's grace to begin again. I'm the proof.
Yeah, and that also goes back to the Dr. Brian. Of course, I didn't have your answer when I had this question in mind, or when I brought up the fact that we would discuss the prayer or the affirmations that Dr. Forbes did, because of course, at this point, there is a status quo for her to be the typical first lady, which of course she doesn't meet the mold. I mean, of course, she has the Holy Ghost, she speaks and she preaches on her own, but just looking at her aesthetics, it doesn't give your typical first lady. So she probably can benefit from New Girl because like it is like you said, authentically you, because I mean ultimately there's somebody for, I'll say it again. There is somebody for everybody. Now, look, this conversation was extremely good. So good that the volume went out. But I would like to emphasize that Lisa Gurley has a consulting group. If you go to Google and search Unearth Consulting Group, it brings up the Instagram page immediately, where there's a fully functional DM where she's ready to put in the work, to motivate, and to strategize. Now, I've tried everything to recover this sound, but unfortunately, here we are, with plenty to see and nothing to hear. And let that be the theme for 2026. You don't have to hear about nothing I got going on, but you'll be able to see the results. Although we didn't have an opportunity to complete the conversation as I would have liked, I would like to leave you with a little bit of encouragement. I ended by saying there's somebody for everybody, and that absolutely includes you. There is something on the inside that was uniquely placed and won't be able to be duplicated by anyone else. So it doesn't matter if this isn't the first time you've started the journey, business, or idea. Who cares? This is another attempt at starting the gym or school. And as I say, if there's progress in your process, you're on the right path. So in this new era, I encourage you to silence the noise of the naysayers. Lock in and be focused on what's important to you and your family. Go after everything your heart desires. This is the year to obtain it all, no matter what anyone has to say about it. So go ahead, new girl, new guy, stand on business and enter into your new era. Until next time, and make sure you be on the lookout for part 2 for all the juicy parts of this conversation. See you then.